demo for your Photoshop AI generative fill practice. So the first thing I want to do is open pictures from Lightroom. So if I go to Lightroom, I'm going to pick one that I would like to add things to. So I right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop. And then if yours doesn't say that, you can try edit another one and you can tell it which ones you would like to edit. So edit in Adobe Photoshop. I'm going to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments, and it opens it. The other option is I could file open and just pick one from my desktop that I used and open it that way. So the first thing I want to do is generative expand using the crop tool. Looks like this. So I'm in Photoshop, I find my crop tool. You shouldn't be hiding under anything. Whatever size you want. And if this has numbers, you can hit clear. And I'm gonna pull it to expand. And then up here, I need to say generative expand. And then I hit the check mark, and then it'll normally take a minute or two for the Wi-Fi to go through. So I use the crop tool, I use generative expand. And then it will give me options for the expansion. So I think this one looks a little weird over here. That one looks better. So this is the one that I think looks good. And I generative expand. And then you would need to take a screenshot. Command-Shift-3 will do the whole screen. To take a screenshot. And then I need to do generative fill and add at least three things to one photo. So I already used this one, so I'm not going to use this one, and I'm not going to save it because this is a demo. So again, if you need to open a new picture. Let's see. Let's maybe add something. So any picture, I can right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop, edit a copy, or you can file open and pick a picture. Different options. Okay, so right now I'm in the crop tool, so I'm gonna switch to the move tool just in case. So this is one that I have already done. So I'll turn these off so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to use my lasso tool will let me just draw whatever selection I want. And if I right click and hold selection brush, you can brush to add things. I can make my brush bigger. So say I want to add something here. So I'm brushing where I want to add something. And then I hit generative fill. If you don't see this, I can also right click. No, I can't. Edit generative fill. And then I wanted to put a reindeer with brown fuzzy fur and a red nose. So I want to make sure I'm giving it a subject, a description, and like what I want. You need to make sure you're giving it good details because the AI cannot figure out what you want unless you give it very descriptive language. So I'm going to hit generate. And you have to use Firefly or 3. If you try to use any of the other models, they don't work in our EDU version. You have to pay for them. So it's going to generate. And it's creating new pixels, so automatically makes a new layer. See, I am not loving these results. And just an FYI, if I try and move this, it doesn't work at all. So you have to put it where you want to have it. So again, I am just going to use any of the selection tools, draw, generative fill. You can right click generative fill, or you can also edit generative fill. And then I type what I want and it makes new layers. So you need to add 3 things. I put those on top of each other, so that doesn't work. So you need to add 3 things to the picture. And then once you're done, make sure you save it. So you are adding at least 3 things to one photo. Okay, so this next part is just text to image. This is where you really want to give it a good description. So in Photoshop, I'm gonna hit the home button, or I can also file new. And I just want a letter size, if it's under photo or print, 8.5 by 11. And I'm gonna name it Text AI. Hit create. So I have this blank page. So in your contextual text bar, you can just hit generate image. You can also edit generate image. And if you have the older version, you might need to Command A, select all for that to work. So edit, generate image, and it gives you this box. So I am going to go to my prompts, and I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste it in here. I want a colorful landscape with tall, snow-covered mountains and a teal lake below. I want to make it look epic. Style of, I don't know if it knows who Ansel Adams is. And then I can choose effects. I can tell it what kind of look I'm looking for. I can choose a style reference. So if I want to like choose a picture from my thing, I can give it a style reference. You can give it composition, like you can choose to tell it what kind of view you want and if it's gonna pull like 100% or not. So this is all things that gives you control over what it's gonna make. And the AI, you can put the same thing in twice and get completely different results. So part of what you're trying to learn is how to get what you want from the image generation, because this is the next new thing in art. So I'm gonna click through, and I like this one, and I'm gonna make I'm gonna make sure I can see my prompt like this when I take a screenshot to turn in, because I am gonna grade that you have a good long prompt with details. And then I need to add at least 2 things to this picture. So I'm gonna go back to Photoshop, and I'm going to use my lasso tool, and I am maybe gonna add a bird. So I'm gonna hit generative fill. I want a teal bird. So I tell it what kind of bird. I can tell it was yellow if I need to. And I'm going to make 2 of these and make sure I add at least 2 things to each of them. So that gave me a cocktail because I can't spell. How about a parrot? Bird with red and blue colors. Even though, because I wrote cocktail. And if you're not getting what you want, just keep redoing it. Okay, that's better. Sure, and then I would add one other thing. Let's see. Maybe I want a log cabin with smoke coming out of chimney. And make sure you're using the Firefly or Image 3. These things you don't have access to, and this one's older. It's thinking, and then when you are all done, you're putting your screenshots, generative fill, in the assignment. And then if I don't like these, I can just hit generate again and it'll give me more options. And then again, I'm making sure my layers are big so that I can read your prompts when you screenshot them. Happy editing.